Hello and welcome to another Delboy random gameplay video. Now, I've got a friend of the channel who also has his own gameplay channel called Steve 8-Bit Gaming, and he's been going through his game collection and been playing things from his history, good, the bad, the ugly, and it's well deserving of your attention, and I totally recommend that you go to his channel and check him out. I'll put a link in the description below. But he did a game the other day called 3D which was on the Spectrum back in the very early 80s, and a friend of his and mine called Milfy recognized that there was a remake, and of course that's a light bulb moment, because as a lot of people know, I like to look at a game that is from my past and has been modernized for today's audience. And so it intrigued me, did a little bit of research, managed to find a download for it, and here we are. We are looking at 3D, and basically this particular game has now got no further development going on it, which is a shame, but it's in a good enough state for me to show off the code for this game. So what is 3D It's a very simple premise. You are a rescuer. There are people to be rescued. The mazes are blocks, but it is infested with man-sized ants, for which you can only take so many bites before you will die. The person you're trying to rescue will also have a set amount of bites before they can die. The aim of the game is for you to find the person that needs to be rescued and get them out from the gates of the city. You only have grenades as a weapon, and there is a set amount of them. Your scanner will only indicate whether they are close or not, as indicated by a red block or a green block that is in the bottom corner of the screen. There is a map view which you wouldn't have had on the original Spectrum version, so there is a little bit more of an ease on this one. Well, let's just have a quick go. I'm going to show you the menu first of all, and you can see that there's some options. And in those options we can change how the game plays, what type of graphic mode do you want, how high you want the sound, and what type of controller do you need. And to be quite honest, there's a good range here. So if we go into game options, you can see that I can change the color scheme. Now there are only a few color schemes, and they don't drastically alter things too much. You can have the original ZX Spectrum, which is sort of black and white. You can have a Commodore 64, because Untitled did get converted to the Commodore 64, but it was a little bit later on. So there's a slight higher palette rate for the Commodore 64. You can have it look like it's in the desert. You can have it look like you're in the middle of a storm. You can have it look like it has just turned midnight. You can have it look like it's a winter wonderland, and you can have it random. I tend to, for this demonstration, just put it on ZX Spectrum. Now, with any remake, there are going to be some graphical licks, and in this particular instance there is a cam. So for the enhanced version you've got follow cam, which basically is the camera is slightly behind you and it follows you, go figure. There is also player cam, which is basically first person. Quite a good view, but anybody who's played first person games, it can be quite restrictive. Then you've got North ISO. So remember that this is an isometric game, so you can have the 3D effect looking north all the time, east all the time, south all the time, or west all the time. That's basically it. So when we're going to be playing our first game, we'll have it on follow cam. You can change whether you want to be a boy or a girl. Yes, even back in the 80s, you could choose which sex you wanted to be. That's quite forward thinking for a 1982-83 game. Then there is movement. Now the Spectrum version was very, very restrictive in its movement. In this particular instance, you can have it on free, but you can also have it on classic. And what does classic mean? Well, the way that it worked on the classic version was you stood upright, and by moving the key left, you turned 45 degrees or 90 degrees. And if you kept the key pressed, it would keep rotating round. If you wanted to move forward, you move forward with the forward key. If you think about it, that's quite a restrictive method, especially when you've got jump as well and firing grenades. You tend to find that you're being bitten by the ants. They will get in the way, and you will be churning like mad to try and get out of the way so that you can continue to search for the people that are trapped. So that's classic view. Then you've got shadows for this. Basically, I recommend that you don't turn the shadows on, but I will show you what they look like with them on. It's sort of like a mirror effect, and then you can choose how many ants you want. Now 5 is the minimum, but it goes, let's see, all the way up to 40. You will find that 5 is ample enough. Then you've got the graphics, which basically is just, do you want to use the primary display, which is what I've got mine set to, or did you want to use NVIDIA or Radeon? It does detect what your graphic card is. Being such an oldish game, really, there is going to be no speed increase using either or, so you don't probably need to worry about that. Sound is very limiting in the fact that you can change the music and the sound volume, otherwise you're trapped with the sound effects or the music that this developer decided to provide to us. And then you've got controllers, and the controllers are quite good. You've got joystick, you've got mouse and keys, you've got keyboard, so basically you've got a mix and match there, and you can set it up by defining those setups. So without further ado, we know what we need to do. Let's play the game. So as you can see, I'm in follow cam, and I can jump over these blocks, and the aim of the game is for me to rescue, like the princess I suppose, and get her out of the gates. So basically just jump over these, go out the gate, and you've rescued your first trapped person. And then they'll steadily go up, so what we need to do now is find another one to rescue. And as you can see, the movement can be a little bit weird at first, and you will tend to find that it's a bit disjointing at first. But when you get onto the blocks, the ants can't climb up, so you tend to find that it's quite easy to get out of a bad situation. I mean, I've been bitten 5 times there, and the red block in the area says that the person is not too far away. Now I can fire grenades, and if I hold the button down, it fires the grenade further away. Now the problem with this is that there are 5 ants, and as soon as one is destroyed, another one gets created. So basically there isn't just 5 and then you're okay until the end. There will be 5 immediately still trying to come after you. It was just to get you out of a bad situation. So what we need to do is find the person, and I found them. There we go. You can see I'm on a block, so I'm not too bad. Now I need to get her out of this maze. We need to do it as quickly as possible. I believe it was this way. Through the gate, and away we go. So really, it's quite a simple little game, but what they've done here is turn it into a much more modern look. So we'll press escape, and we can change some of the options. So as you can see, I had that on classic. So if I put it onto free and put it into player cam, that will be more like a first person. So we'll have a go at that. Here we go. Now, the only restriction really with this particular view is you can't look up or down. So you're sort of stuck at waist height. There we are, we got out. So as you can see, it's actually more restrictive than the follow cam. What we'll try and do now then is we'll try another view. We'll go to options, go to game options, we'll put it to North ISO, but with still free movement. So this would be more in telling with what the spectrum looked like. It was like an isometric game. So as you can see, I'm sort of like above. And all I need to do now is just go back through the gate and have one. This is really just to show you the different sort of like views. So what we'll do now is we'll see what it's like playing at night or playing in a storm. So we can have it in a storm. We'll put it back to follow cam and we'll have the movement as free. There we go. Now you can see that there is a mirror type effect, which is what the shadows were. Everything has got a muted greyish look. And all we need to do is get them out and we're free. We will rescue one other, I think. Because what we got now is a free view. Notice that before I was on classic view where I was turning left and right, trying to find things. You could also put in a map. There we are, so I've put a map now in the top right hand corner. Should make things a little bit simpler to try and find the person. I tend to find that this game gets decidedly hard because, to be quite honest, the movement doesn't allow you to turn. You have to move with the turn, and you can't look up and down. So basically, you're really in a bind when an ant gets in your way. You'll see that I'm in a wall, being blocked by an ant. I'm rotating around. I'm running around, and I'm moving into the blocks very, very quickly. And the maze is then suddenly turning into a hazard for me, as well as the ants. And that then can take away a lot of the fun. We'll run through here, seeing if I can find the poor person that's trapped. You might have already seen her, but I'm sort of like trapped in this corner now. Because you'll tend to find that you'll try to play the game with the map and take your eyes away from the main screen, which really is not what you want to do, but you can't help it because you don't see enough of looking up and down on the map. So I'm not doing very well here. I've only got 10 more bites before I'm dead, and I can't find this person that I need to rescue. And as you can see, I'm turning and turning and trying to get away, jumping. I could use the grenades, but basically I could also blow myself up with them if if they're too close, and your health will not go back up. So basically, this game can become frustrating very, very quickly. So I'm just going to go back out of the main maze and just then do a recap of this game. So, 3D Ant-Attack is one of those WoW games that back when I was a lad, I couldn't wait to try and have a go on. If you were a Commodore 64 owner, you really did have to wait a little while before you could actually get it, and the only downside of the 64 one was it was a tad slower, and the extra colour really didn't add too much. And I bring this up because I want to sort of like advise what I feel about this new engine, because where the Commodore 64 would have a slap of colour, what this has done is given you a few bells and whistles and kept the game as it is. The maze is exactly the same as well. Has this improved the game? No. Can you play it like the old Spectrum game? Yes, you can. Does this therefore make it a good game to download or not? And I have to say that I've had some fun playing this, and I've had some fun going back to it, but I found the game probably a little bit too simplistic now for my palate, and I slowly started to lose interest in it. Now, I don't want that to put you off, because if you've never played a game like this, it's definitely worth an investment in time in. I believe that the person who developed this game, to make it more modern for us all, if they'd have just taken it a little bit further, where you could look up and down, where the scanner was not quite as simple, and kept the bells and whistles that this particular game has got, then this would certainly be worthy of my attention. But as it is, I got great fun out of it, but I doubt that I would come back to it. And I hope you found this video entertaining and enjoyable. So until next time, thank you very much and goodbye.